here is how we handle this. In terms of the hosted solutions like BigCommerce, Shopify, Volusion, 3D Card, etc., we have a daily backup service that we actually offer, where we back up your templates, your products, your customers, your entire database on a daily basis. It's not an expensive solution. I think it's better to be safe in these kinds of situations. If you have any kind of credit card encryption, the third-party bank or the third-party provider handles all of that, so you don't have to worry about that. Volusion is a PCI compliant company, highest level of PCI compliance, but they were hacked. So it doesn't mean that you will not get hacked. It just means that you will have the backup that you need regardless of what happens. And this is true for all hosted solutions as well as the open source solutions. I mean, when you look at open source like Magento, Xcart, when you look at some of the solutions like some versions of PrestaShop, WordPress, WooCommerce. Let's talk about WordPress and WooCommerce. I mean,
some of the most vulnerable.
Yeah, most vulnerable, easiest to hack because you implement 10 plugins and then you don't update the plugins. You don't have auto update. You know, the plugin owner doesn't update their software. It's so easy to get hacked. And we see some banks on WordPress, some financial institutions on WordPress. What's the solution there, Joe?
Oh, you need to get off of WordPress. You can't be on an open source platform. You need to be on a secured server.
But let's separate. So WordPress is great as a CMS, right? For lead generation. But if you're an e-commerce site and if you're running WooCommerce, unless you have some crazy customizations, we're saying you should not be on WordPress, correct?
Correct. I think a hosted solution would be better, safer. But again, there are pros and cons, just like every platform out there. WordPress is a phenomenal CMS. You're most likely going to get a lot more visibility. So it really depends.
But if you're dealing with any credit card information, any customer information, remember, as the owner, you are liable for this information. So if you, and I don't know if most people know this, if you have 1,000 credit cards in your system and they get stolen, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, they come after you and they fine you if they find that. Even if one of your employees goes and exports this somewhat and shares this with somebody else, they will be able to trace it back to you and fine you upwards of $500,000 in fines. Go ahead.
No, going back to WordPress, you could still be on WordPress and utilize their CMS and just, and have a have a subdomain that directs you to, one of these hosted solutions. Or if you're lucky, potentially sub-index the WordPress CMS.
Got it. If you are on WordPress and WooCommerce and you still want to remain there are some plugins that give you these firewalls and different IP banning functionalities, etc. So you could also leverage that. With that being said, definitely you should be backing up your Shopify, BigCommerce, Volusion, Magento. You should be backing this up regardless of hosted or open source. You need a daily backup of your entire database, because if you have this, then you have options. If you don't have this, you could be out of business in 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever you want to call it, if your site or if the system that you're using got hacked, or if, God forbid, one of your employees hated you and they did something behind your back. So definitely start paying attention to this. This is just like insurance. Nobody wants to pay it, but everybody needs to pay it. We'll talk to you guys next week.